right, Shalom. Ko Lo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone, who do teach and rule well, and through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai told us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing this work in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled birds scattered to the four corners and speaking in different tongues, unto you we say Shalom. All right, this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and I have a Daily Mail article here, okay, because Putin basically, called out, the U.S., man, all right, and not only the U.S., but the U.K. as well, okay? And, this is in response to a British defender ship, all right, that ultimately he said, I could have destroyed it, and y'all wouldn't have done anything about it because y'all know y'all couldn't win a war, okay? So this is, as it says, all right, at the end part of this about the Black Sea, all right, basically, I did a lesson on this before when it was going on initially, but Russia has stopped ships from entering, a certain strait area. Okay, let me see if I can get it. Closes strait. I can't remember the exact name of it. There we go. Here it is. All right. Yep. So basically, they closed this particular narrow passageway that's right off the coast of Crimea. Okay, and things have continued to kind of escalate, if you will. All right, I'm trying to see if I could find the map, just to give you brothers a visual. All right, but basically, they stopped, all of any other country, can't access it. All right, is basically the point. Okay, and ultimately, the U.S. and U.K. have tried to send, ships, over there. All right, and certain warplanes, as like a I believe it says it. Here we go. The second point. All right, he said the plane and the HMS Defender were deliberate provocation by the U.S. and U.K. All right, so you have basically the buildup coming. All right, and not only that. All right, but we've gone into it. All right, as well. Okay, but China has also been saying they're ready for war over Taiwan. Okay, because the U.S. is basically helping Taiwan. All right, and that particular measure. All right, Lord's will, this will pop up. I'm not sure why it's here we go. All right, this was May. Taiwan's foreign minister says China is preparing for war. Here's Taiwan's response plan. Okay, so Taiwan, which China considers a breakaway province, is the most tense issue between Beijing and the U.S. Taiwan argues it is on the front line of democracy against Chinese authoritarianism and is increasingly facing military harassment. All right, so basically you have Taiwan, condemning China. All right, and then you have the U.S. over there helping Taiwan, and then China in response is saying if you get involved, to the U.S., they're saying if you get involved, then we basically going to jack you up, man. All right, and that was I believe that was just a month ago, May 25th. All right, and here we are, okay, in June. All right. And you have, Putin letting them know, on record, like, man, listen, man, you guys really don't want, any issues, So Putin claimed a U.S. reconnaissance aircraft was operating with the warship. He said the plane and the British HMS Defender were deliberate provocation by U.S. and U.K. And basically, they're trying to see how many ships they have over there in that Kerch Strait, all right? They're trying to see how Russia is building up their military along the Crimean coast. All right, they're trying to see exactly what Russia is doing, man. All right, as they've always done, really. Okay, because NATO in itself was to combat Russia. All right, its creation. Okay, Moscow said one of its warships fired warning shots and a warplane dropped bombs in the path of Defender on June 23rd to force it from an area near Crimea. All right, so you're seeing, all right, that Russia is no longer, I may mention this before, the nations, not even, Russia solely, but the nations are out of, they've moved away from the diplomatic approach. All right, and now you're seeing action. Okay, you're not seeing, no more of, we will discuss it, without action being taken. You are seeing action being taken along with words, along with promises. All right. Moscow said one of its warships fired warning shots and a warplane dropped bombs in the path of the ship on June 23rd to force it from an area near Crimea. The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson's spokesman, which he's over there, he's the British Prime Minister, said warship acted within the law. Okay, and that's how Esau does. Everything is within the scope of the law, but then he'll create the law in a way that there are loopholes to not actually abide by the law at the very same time. Okay, the Dutch Navy also confirmed its frigate was harassed by Russian jets last week. All right, so basically they're provoking them, man. All right, they made a decision. Okay, as they did when they annexed Crimea, which again there's a lot of history here, which some of you brothers are familiar with who have covered it, over the years when these things happened some time ago. All right. But nonetheless, the Russians have been clear about it. The same way, the U.S. and those, U.K. and all them, when they're clear about something, they expect people to abide by it. All right. But then when somebody else is clear about it, they don't abide by it and they say they're acting within the law. All right. So that's how this devil works. OK. Meanwhile, a U.S. ship was shown on ship tracking services as sailing with a Ukrainian patrol boat just 5 miles off the coast of the contested Crimean. All right. So again, this is all going to what's going on in Crimea. All right. Last week, a top secret Ministry of Defense dossier containing 50 pages of classified information about Russian threat to the Defender was found in Kent. All right. So, they're pushing, this big Russian threat very heavy. All right. And ultimately the reasons why, okay, is, they're not with, even though all of these merchants, all right, have been, made rich, they're also, not in the spirit of just receiving what America does, man. That's basically what it is. It's kind of like, to give you brothers an example, it's kind of like religions. You have, those who might, take on a certain religion, and then you'll have those that, examine that religion and be like, well, there's a few things off about it, so I'm not going to take what you say, as the end all be all, because, the principles by which you're stating you live by, they're kind of contrary to, so-called humanity, if you will. All right. And Russia has been exposing, the U.S. All right. Russia has been just like Turkey as well. Turkey, when Biden made a claim, about Turkey and ultimately, some genocide that happened over there. And the Turkey president responded and said, but wait, y'all had slavery. So why are you, trying to, talk about this genocide? I believe it was the Armenian genocide. Let me just see if I can get it. Armenian genocide, U.S. had slavery. Let's see if it pops up, through the spirit. Here we go. So basically, the U.S. ended up recognizing this so-called Armenian genocide. All right, going back to the Ottoman Empire, and I'm not sure if it's actually in here, but basically, the Turkish president Erdogan, he said, you want to be talking about this genocide that happened, and yet you have everything you have because of slavery, man. You don't want to discuss slavery. So these nations, we're really seeing a ramping up, of that war spirit, man. All right. Let's see here. Let me get a few more points in here. This is very straightforward, but just as watchmen, being mindful of current events, and taking into consideration, the few prophecies, left, that need to occur before the Lord returns. This is beautiful to see. So Moscow said one of its warships fired warning shots, which we read. Okay, Britain insisted, as they always do, insisted its ship wasn't fired upon and that it was sailing in Ukrainian waters. Okay, so of course, same thing like with U.S. When the U.S. gets bullied around, they deny it. And who is the U.S. a product of? All right, we already know. Okay, so Britain insisted the ship wasn't fired upon. Of course they would, because they have to maintain that image. All right, but through the spirit, that they were, man. Those Russians don't play no games, man. All right, asked if the offense with HMS Defender could have triggered World War III. Putin responded that the West wouldn't risk a full-scale conflict. Even if we sank that ship, it wouldn't put the world on the brink of World War III because those who do it know that they can't emerge as winners in that war, and it's very important. All right, so there it is, man. All right, the talks of World War III, all right, are now are now hitting the mainstream. All right, because typically, when you look at World War III, if you type it in Google, it's like the Sun article, I believe, the Sun newspaper. You don't really hear too much about it on the so-called the Express, Salaki. It's the Express newspaper and the Sun. Yep, but like on other main ones, you don't hear anything, all right, about World War III. Okay, but now you see, all right, Daily Mail, whatever other news outlets, all right, covered, these particular comments. Now you are seeing it in the mainstream media narrative, all right, and not in the alternative media narrative, all right, and that's beautiful, man. Let's see. The Dutch Navy said the encounter as well. Okay, the planes repeatedly harassed the Everton between about 3:30 and 8:30 p.m. All right, and this is the Royal Netherlands Navy. All right, and again, trying to victimize and all of that. All right, but they really don't want no problems, man. All right, and that's why Russia is going to be that great initiator in destroying this place, man. All right, because you keep poking, and ultimately soon, you're going to be bitten. All right, let me grab this. Let the archers. What am I thinking of? Jeremiah. Yes, beautiful. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the boat. All right, and this is talking about those nuclear capabilities. All right, and it's funny because Biden made mention, that Iran won't have nuclear capabilities under his watch. All right, and through the spirit. All right, here we go. Yep. Biden, Iran will never get nuclear weapons on my watch. And, they are going to get those nuclear weapons. All right. It may not be, on your watch, but that's not anything that has to do with him. All right. He has no power, to stop what Yahweh Shem Yahushai has already put in order to occur. All right. Call together the archers against Babylon. Okay. And that is talking about America, man. All right. As it says in Rev, which is spiritual, Sodom and Egypt. Okay. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. All right. So, you're going to be completely obliterated, man. All right. By the same measure that you on a daily basis, all right, drop thousands of bombs, it's by that same measure that in 1 hour, you're going to be completely decimated, man. How many bombs does the U.S. drop a day? This number is actually a lie. It's actually higher. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, okay, So, U.S. and it puts allies. but they have dropped 46 bombs per day on other countries since 2001. Okay, and then not only that, you have the Military Times article right here. All right, and it says that U.S. warplanes dropped 415 bombs in January, slightly under the 10-year high of 463 munitions released in 2019 for that month. Okay, so slightly lower. All right, but nonetheless, that doesn't really matter, man, because ultimately these countries these other nations are preparing for war, man. All right, and like I was saying, you be dropping bombs on people, like you giving candy away to children. All right. And that's why I said, according to all that she had done, do unto her. All right. So, that same destruction. All right. Matter of fact, let me get it. Let me just get it. All right. Because you're going to be destroyed, man. And it's going to be beautiful. All right. And the nations, Rev 11 and 18, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name. All right. Again, showing that the name is important, man. You can't, call on so-called Christ. All right. These other camps, not calling on the name, not, using the name. Okay. Because ultimately that shows a lack of what? Fear. Okay. There is, righteous fear, that spiritual fear, and there is carnal fear. All right. And we have, that fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the power of his name. All right. And, everything spiritually that encompasses, our love for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. All right. So again, point being made, man, they be dropping bombs, crazy, and, they'll say, oh, we're not at war, but yet you dropping 50 bombs a day, according to all that she hath done, do unto her, for she hath been proud against the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, against the Holy One of Israel. All right. And America is the proudest place, man. All right. But now, as we have seen and as we continue to see happen, they are being picked apart, slowly. Everything is crumbling here, slowly but surely. And even some things, they're dropped, they're falling apart rather quickly, So, just through the Spirit, I wanted to share this, man, and, those other few articles as well, okay, because like I said, World War III is now in the mainstream media narrative, okay? So now we are entering into that time, all right, of, that third woe, man, because ultimately once it gets in that mainstream media narrative, that's an indicator, that's an indication, for those of us, sincere, hopeful elect men, once it's mainstream, that it's like it's validated, and of course we use the alternative, news outlets, to seek research and, ultimately dig into those things that Esau doesn't want to validate, through the Spirit. He wants to minimize that, in the spirit of damage control and, in the spirit of a forger, of lies, and, ultimately just trying to keep control, because that's all he wants. He wants to control. All right. So Lord's will you was edified. I didn't want to make this too long. Very, very beautiful to see it in the mainstream media. All right. And let me see if just through the Spirit, I just wanted to check Zero Hedge. All right. Because typically, okay, yeah, so they did report that as well. Zero Hedge is another, good source to get information from. All right. And, they link, their sources. They pull all the information and put it in one article that Esau basically will try to hide, So, they did show, that, hey, listen, we know that what Russia was saying is true, So, yes, there was a spy plane involved. And yes, there were warning shots and bombs dropped, But of course, when you're, in the spirit of trying to, maintain control and all of that, you're not going to scare the people, ultimately, when you've already done that with the Crown Royal. All right. You basically already have the people in a dumbed down state in the first place. So you don't want to add on to that just yet. You want to wait for the next stage, to implement that fear, if you will. All right. And, just real quick, through the spirit, veteranstoday.com, which is basically, former military personnel and other, individuals that got together and report, on things, that Esau does, so just two sources that I wanted to share with you, brothers. And yeah, Lord's will, you was edified, man. That mainstream media narrative, man, World War III is finally in there. So something to keep an eye out. All right. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You, I came out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. All right. Until next time, we say Shalom.